What if 5 small filming mistakes are the only thing standing between you and cinematic drone footage? Most beginners blame the gear, but the drone is almost never the problem, and once you see these mistakes, you'll understand exactly why your footage looks the way it does. In this video, I'm going to show you all 5 fixes, including the settings that ruins footage for nearly every beginner, so you can put them into practice immediately. Most beginners do exactly the same thing when they're setting up a shot. They look at the screen, the footage looks good, so they hit record. The problem is that your screen lies to you. In bright sunlight, it makes your footage look darker than it actually is, and on an overcast day, it can fool you the other way. So what happens is you fly, you get home, you pull the footage up on your computer, and it's either blown out or underexposed. And if it's blown out, there's nothing you can do about it in post. And I know this because I've done it myself, even recently. Take a look at these shots. I was really excited about what I'd captured, and it all looked really good on the screen. I got home, loaded it up, and realized the sky was blown out. I trusted the screen the entire time instead of trusting the camera. And it's a frustrating mistake to make, especially when the fix is so simple, and quite often you've traveled away from the spot you filmed before you realize. And before every single flight, turn on the histogram. This is how you do it.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
It gives you a real-time graph of your exposure that doesn't change based on how bright your screen is, or what angle you're looking at it from. A healthy histogram has the mountain-type shapes sitting roughly in the middle, not pushed hard to the left, which means it's underexposed, and not pushed to the right, which means it's blown out. You want it sitting right in the middle, and once you know what you're looking for, you'll never guess at exposure again. And here's why this matters the most, because beyond getting the exposure right, better exposed footage holds more detail, and more detail gives you far more flexibility when you're color grading later on. Your footage will immediately start looking more polished without changing a single thing about how you fly. But exposure is only half the battle, because even perfectly exposed footage can look very boring if you're making this next mistake with your framing. So here's a mistake I made for a very long time without even realizing it. I'd fly to a genuinely beautiful location, the light was good, the exposure was right, and I'd still come home with footage that was very average. Even though I was in a great location, the shots just look exactly the same as every other drone video out there, and what I didn't understand was that pointing the drone at something interesting isn't the same as creating an interesting composition. And most beginners do this. They put the subject dead center, the drone points straight at it, and that's the shot. It works, but it never looks cinematic, and sometimes it can even just look like surveillance footage of a nice place. To fix this, you need to start thinking about your framing before you press record. Move your subject off center, like in this stadium shot. The first shot is badly composed, but the next shot follows the rule of thirds, and because of that, your shot immediately has more tension and balance. Also look for foreground elements that you can use to create depth, like flying through the branches towards these boats, because layers in a frame are what make drone footage feel more three-dimensional. And also look for leading lines like this river shot, anything that naturally pulls the eye through the frame. And when you start doing this, after a while, something will shift in your brain. Footage that used to feel like a pretty picture starts feeling more intentional. Even ordinary locations start looking cinematic because the composition is doing work that the location just can't do alone. Depth, scale, and visual tension come from how you frame the shot, not from where you flew to get it. So framing is something you can fix immediately on your next flight, but there's another mistake that's just as common, and it's about something most beginners never even think to try with their drone. Here's something that I did for a long time that I thought was making my footage better. I just kept the drone moving. And honestly, I still do it, but I move the drone slower now. And back then, every single shot had some kind of movement in it, because I thought that's what cinematic looked like. So I'd fly forward, pull back, orbit, push in, and when I watched it back, sometimes it just looked really exhausting. It was just too busy. There was no breathing room, no moment where the eye could settle, and ironically, it can make the footage look less professional, not more. And what I hadn't figured out was that some of the most cinematic drone shots ever captured involve the drone doing absolutely nothing. When you hover perfectly still and let the world move through the frame, something interesting happens. Waves roll in, cars drive through your scene, sometimes boats floating on the water looks great. Or just people walking along a pier. All of that natural motion becomes the shot, and because the camera is completely locked off, the movement in the scene is what becomes interesting. And then you forget that the drone is even there. So on your next flight, try this. Find a composition you like, hover still, and just wait. Give it 20 or 30 seconds and see what moves through your frame naturally. You'll be surprised how cinematic the results look, compared to the shot where you were moving the whole time. And there's also a practical editing benefit here as well. Static shots give you somewhere to breathe between your moving shots, but if you want a little movement in those shots in post, you can always add a slow zoom. And that alone lifts the overall quality of your video. Now, staying still is one of those things most beginners ignore, but there's another one they forget about almost entirely, and it's built right into the drone itself. This is the mistake that I'm most embarrassed about because for months early on, I didn't even realize I was making it. I was so focused on flying, where to position the drone, how to move it smoothly, and what angle to approach from, that I completely forgot that the gimbal was a separate tool I could control independently. Obviously. Every reveal, every establishing shot, every slow push forward relied entirely on the drone moving. I just left the gimbal sitting there, locked in position doing nothing. And the shots looked really good, but they never looked rich. What was missing was a second axis of movement. Like in this shot of a tower, it looks good, but if I'd started low with the gimbal and then tilted up like in this shot of a pier, it would have improved my shot a lot. When you combine a slow drone movement with a gentle gimbal tilt, the shot immediately feels more layered and more professional. A classic example is this shot again of a pier. I flew the drone upwards and tilted the gimbal down at the same time. That single combination creates a shot that looks like it belongs in a film, and it takes about 10 minutes of practice to get smooth. So just start simple. Pick one movement combination, like a top-down shot I did like this one. I flew upwards as I rotated the drone. Just practice it until it feels natural. And once you get those shots locked in, you'll have shots that look more cinematic and less like everyone else's shots. But even with perfect gimbal movement and great framing, there's one more mistake that can silently flatten all of it. And it happens before you even think about composition. This is the mistake that took me the longest to figure out because on the surface everything looks fine, the footage was sharp, the exposure was decent, but it never had that smooth cinematic motion I kept seeing in other people's videos. And the reason was that I had no idea my camera was quietly changing camera settings every few seconds. It was compensating for shifting light. And every time it did, the footage changed with it. And that's what auto mode does. It hands control of your shutter speed and the ISO to the camera, and the camera just reacts to whatever the light is doing. And the result can be footage that looks inconsistent, sometimes jittery, and never quite filmic, even when everything else is right about the shot. And the fix is to shoot manual and adjust your shutter speed manually to suit your environment. And it is much simpler than it sounds. If you're flying close to the ground, set your shutter speed to double your frame rate. So if you're shooting at 30 frames per second, your shutter speed should be 1/60th of a second to get that nice blurry motion, like in this shot where I'm flying low over the water. If your screen looks blown out when you do this, you need to put an ND filter on to darken your lens down, or shoot later in the day or earlier in the morning when the light is softer. But if you're up high, motion blur isn't really needed, so you can just adjust your shutter speed to suit your surroundings. That's where your histogram will also save you, and you can keep your ISO as low as possible to avoid any grain in your footage. Once you're shooting in manual with the right shutter speed, the footage changes immediately. Motion looks smoother, exposure stays consistent across the whole clip, and colors are far more easy to work with when you're grading. It's the last piece of the puzzle when you combine it with everything else in this video. Your footage will start looking less like a hobbyist flew a drone and more like someone who knew exactly what they were doing. And gimbal movement is just the beginning because once you start combining it with different angles and altitudes, something clicks and your footage goes from looking good to looking genuinely cinematic. I broke down exactly how to do that in this video right here, and it's the next natural step from everything we've covered today.